Close your eyes for just a moment, not to sleep, but to remember. Remember the feeling of a day's weight, not as a burden, but as a tangible thing settled upon your shoulders, a collection of decisions, screens, conversations, and the low hum of constant movement. Now, imagine that weight being lifted, not with a jerk, but with a gentle, irresistible dissolve, as if the very air has turned to liquid light and is washing it all away. This is the promise that waits at the border of day and night, at the place where the land kneels to meet the sea. We are going there together right now. You are standing at the edge of the world, bare feet buried in the cool, forgiving sand, a sand that has spent all day absorbing the sun's fierce energy, and now offers only a soft, lingering warmth like the memory of a kindness. The air is different here. It carries a new scent, a clean slate aroma, where the salty tang of the ocean merges with the damp, earthy perfume of washed-up kelp and the faint, sweet hint of distant night-blooming flowers. You take a deep breath, and it feels like the first true breath you've taken all day, filling lungs you hadn't realized were constricted. Before you, the ocean is not the vibrant, cheerful blue of postcards, but something infinitely more profound. It has become a vast, undulating plain of liquid mercury and darkened sapphire, its daytime frenzy quieted to a slow, purposeful respiration. Each wave that rolls in is no longer a crash, but a sigh along, whispered exhale that spreads across the shore in a film of shimmering foam that glows with a ghostly light, before retreating with a soft, gravitational pull, dragging a million tiny granules of sand back with a sound like rustling silk. This sound, this endless rhythmic sigh, is the foundational heartbeat of our scene. It is non-negotiable, ancient, and instantly familiar to something deep within your DNA. It is a sound that tells your nervous system, on a primal level, that you are safe. The world is still turning on its axis, that some cycles are eternal and trustworthy, and then you lift your gaze from the water's edge to the horizon, that perfect, razor-thin line where the sea meets the sky, and you witness the reason we are here, the beginning of the alchemy. The sun has just vanished, but it is far from gone. Its departure is an act of creation, not absence. The sky directly above you is a deep, resonant indigo, but as your eyes travel westward, that indigo softens, bleeds, and transforms. It becomes a cascade of color, a gentle explosion muted by the sheer scale of the atmosphere. Lavender bleeds into violet, which deepens into a rich, royal purple, a purple so deep and velvety it feels like you could reach up and gather it in your hands. This is not a flat color. It has dimension and life. Wispy, translucent clouds, once white, are now painted with the faintest brushstrokes of magenta and gold, like embers from the departed sun, drifting in a sea of amethyst. This purple sky is not a void, it is a canvas, a dome of serene majesty that seems to lower itself gently over the world, a soft blanket to soothe the fever of the day. The light it casts is magical, transformative. It erases harsh edges, blurring the world into an impressionistic painting. The distant rocks at the end of the cove are no longer jagged and defined, but soft, rounded silhouettes. The few solitary birds, perhaps a lone heron or a final flock of terns, are reduced to fleeting black brushstrokes against this magnificent backdrop. Your own shadow, stretched long and faint before you, is tinged with blue. In this light, everything is forgiven, everything is softened. The worries you carried seem smaller, their sharp corners smoothed by this pervasive purple glow. The world is holding its breath, suspended in this perfect, transient equilibrium between the dynamism of day and the introspection of night. And you are here, utterly present, a silent witness to this daily miracle. Feeling the cool sand between your toes, listening to the ocean's patient breath, and watching the sky perform its silent, glorious symphony in shades of violet and peace. This purple hue gracing the heavens is not a random accident or a simple artistic choice by nature. It is a breathtaking scientific phenomenon, a specific and delicate recipe of physics, atmosphere, and celestial geometry known as the Twilight arc. To understand it is to deepen the awe, to see the intricate clockwork behind the magic. When the sun dips below the horizon, its direct light is gone, but its rays are still traveling vast distances, skimming the curve of our planet. These rays must now voyage through a much thicker slice of Earth's atmosphere than they did at noon. This atmosphere is not empty space. It is a soup of molecules: nitrogen, oxygen, and tiny particles like dust, salt from sea spray, and water vapor. Sunlight, as we know, is composed of all the colors of the rainbow, each with its own wavelength. The blue and violet light have shorter, smaller waves, while red and orange light have longer, more resilient waves. During the day, when the sun is high, the blue light scatters wildly in all directions by these tiny molecules, which is why we see a blue sky. But at twilight, the story changes dramatically. The path is so long that most of the shorter blue wavelengths have been scattered out completely, dissipated into the depths of space. The longer red and orange wavelengths, being tougher, push through, traveling this great distance. But here's the secret to our purple. They don't travel alone. Some of the blue light, scattered from the still sunlit atmosphere high above you, downwells and mixes with this arriving red and orange glow from the departed sun. This combination, the passionate, traveling red meeting the scattered, descending blue, creates the secondary colors, the magentas, the violets, and the profound purples that define the twilight sky. It is a literal, cosmic color mix happening over your head in real time. The purity and intensity of this purple are a direct reflection of the atmosphere's cleanliness. After rain, when the air has been scrubbed of large pollution particles, the colors are most vivid. The presence of high-altitude clouds acts as a projection screen, catching and amplifying these colors, turning them into fiery streaks or soft, glowing pillows of light. This period, this specific window of time we are immersed in, has names: civil twilight, then nautical twilight. We are in that nautical phase where the center of the sun is between 6 and 12 degrees below the horizon. It is dark enough for the first bright stars to prick through the purple veil in the east, yet the western horizon still holds this memory of light. This balance is fleeting, maybe 20 minutes of perfect, purple-hued equilibrium. And as you stand there, knowing this, the experience transforms from passive viewing to active witnessing. You are not just seeing a pretty sky, you are observing the Earth's rotation, the scattering of electromagnetic waves, the filtration of our life-giving atmosphere. That shimmering path of light leading from the horizon to your feet on the wet sand. That's the glitter path where the sea's ripples act as millions of tiny mirrors, catching and fragmenting the last of the sky's color in a dancing, liquid mosaic. Every gentle wavelet becomes a fleeting artist, painting with stolen light. The soundscape evolves with the light. The day birds have fallen silent, their chorus replaced by the solitary, rhythmic cry of a distant gull heading to its roost, and the rising chorus of insects from the dunes behind you, a soft, electric chirping that seems to vibrate in tune with the deepening colors. The wind, if there is any, usually settles at this hour, as if the world is too engrossed in the visual spectacle to create any auditory distraction. The air temperature drops noticeably, a gentle coolness that raises the fine hairs on your skin and makes you more aware of your body in space, more aware of the thin barrier between you and the vastness. This coolness carries the scent of the ocean with a new clarity, a deeper, cleaner brine. It's in this moment of scientific appreciation that a profound peace often settles most deeply. Because the chaos of the day feels personal, man-made, a product of human invention and social complexity. But this purple sky is governed by laws far older and more immutable than any human worry. Your anxiety cannot change the angle of the sun. Your stress cannot alter the scattering of light. There is a humbling, comforting democracy to it. This glorious display happens every single day, whether anyone is here to see it or not. It is a gift the world gives itself, and you, by your presence and attention, have chosen to receive it. You are aligning your internal rhythm with a celestial one, syncing your heartbeat to the planet's slow turn away from the sun, and in that alignment, a deep, resonant calm is not just possible, is inevitable. This inevitable calm is not merely poetic. It is a biological and psychological reset happening within you, as tangible as the sand beneath your feet. The experience of this peaceful beach at twilight is a powerful multi-sensory therapy session for mind and body forged in the digital, fluorescent-lit modern world. Let's start with your vision. For hours, your eyes have been locked onto glowing rectangles, darting between tabs, text, and harsh, artificial lights that scream at your retinas with their full spectrum intensity. They've been forced into a state of constant, sharp focus, tracking rapid movement and processing thousands of discrete bits of information. Here, on this beach, your eyes are finally allowed to relax. There are no sharp edges, no blinking cursors, no demanding pop-ups. The entire visual field is composed of soft gradients, the gradient of the sky from deep indigo to soft lavender, the gradient of the sea from dark sapphire to shimmering silver at the shore, the gradient of the sand from dry beige to wet, reflective charcoal. This lack of hard lines and high contrast is a balm for the overworked ciliary muscles in your eyes. They can unfocus, letting your gaze drift and wander without a specific target. This is called soft fascination, a state where the environment holds your attention gently without effort, allowing the brain's directed attention circuits, the ones you use for work and problem solving, to rest and replenish. This is a core principle of attention restoration theory. The sound, that perpetual sigh of the waves, acts as a pink noise. Scientifically, pink noise has more low-frequency energy than white noise, and its power per octave decreases as frequency increases, making it sound deeper and more even, like steady rain or this very ocean rhythm. This consistent auditory blanket effectively masks the jarring, sporadic noises of modern life, the traffic horns, the phone pings, the fragmented conversations. It gives your auditory processing system a single, predictable, non-threatening pattern to latch on to, which allows the brain to stop being on high alert for potential threats or important signals. Your nervous system begins to downshift from the sympathetic fight or flight state that characterizes so much of our days into the parasympathetic rest and digest state. Your heart rate subtly synchronizes with the rhythm of the waves, a phenomenon called entrainment. Your breathing deepens and slows naturally to match this slow tidal pace. Even the temperature drop plays a role. The mild, cool air is a sensory signal that evening is here, time for slowing down, a cue deeply ingrained in our circadian biology. But beyond the senses, there is the profound psychological effect of awe. Standing before this immense, beautiful, and transient display, the vast purple sky over the endless ocean triggers the emotion of awe. Psychologists define awe as the feeling we get in the presence of something vast that transcends our current understanding of the world. It makes us feel small in the best possible way. This small self-perspective is incredibly healthy. It shrinks our personal problems, our ego-driven anxieties, and recontextualizes them within a much larger, more majestic, and often more benevolent universe. Research shows that experiencing awe can reduce stress hormones, increase feelings of social connection. Even when alone, you feel part of something bigger and boost overall life satisfaction. On this beach, you are not just a stressed individual. You are a conscious part of a planet spinning in space, witnessing one of its most beautiful atmospheric effects. The purple sky becomes a visual metaphor for transition, for the graceful acceptance of ending that is also a necessary prelude to a new beginning. It teaches without words that nothing is permanent, that even the brightest day must soften and yield, and that this yielding itself creates unparalleled beauty. This is the space where mindfulness happens effortlessly. You are not trying to clear your mind. Your mind is being cleared for you by the overwhelming, gentle input of the environment. Each wave is a natural anchor for your attention. When your thoughts inevitably drift back to that unresolved work email or that personal worry, the next gentle crash, the next shimmer of light on wet sand, the deepening of a particular shade of purple in a cloud pulls you back, not with a jerk, but with a soft, irresistible invitation to return to the present. You are practicing presence in the most supportive classroom imaginable. The beach, in this twilight state, is no longer just a location. It becomes an active participant in your mental restoration, a co-therapist, using the oldest tools in existence, rhythm, light, space, and the silent, majestic passage of time. As we stand here, immersed in this restorative calm, let's extend our gaze beyond the immediate sensory and psychological and consider the deeper, almost timeless narratives that this very scene has witnessed. This beach, this interface of land and sea under a twilight sky, is one of humanity's oldest and most powerful archetypes. For thousands of years, people have gathered at shores like this, not just for sustenance, but for meaning. The edge of the world has always been a place of contemplation, of departure and return, of saying goodbye and praying for a safe arrival. Imagine, centuries ago, a lone figure standing perhaps right where you stand now, watching a sailing vessel, a silhouette of wood and cloth, slowly disappear into that very same purple horizon, swallowed by the vast unknown. The twilight sky for them was not just beautiful, it was a veil between the known and the unknown, a backdrop for hope and anxiety. For others, it was a time for gathering the day's final harvest from the tidal pools, a quiet, focused activity under the softening light. The purple sky has watched silent ceremonies, solitary prayers, the joyful reunions of fishing boats returning home. It has been the canvas for countless human stories of love, loss, wonder, and simple, daily gratitude. This continuity is humbling. The specific worries of that ancient watcher were different: a prayer for a ship's safety, concern for the next season's catch, but the fundamental human emotions, the need for peace, for hope, for connection to something larger than oneself, were identical to what you might feel now. The beach itself is a chronicle. Each grain of sand you feel between your toes is a fragment of a much larger story. A piece of mountain eroded by a river, a fragment of shell ground down by countless tides, a bit of coral from a distant reef. That sand has been here, in this endless cycle of being washed out and brought back, for millennia. The smooth, water-worn stone you might pick up has been tumbled and polished by the ocean for longer than recorded history. This place existed long before any human language had a word for purple or twilight or peace. And it will exist in some form long after. This perspective, known as deep time, can be a profound source of solace. Our personal timelines, with their urgent deadlines and pressing concerns, are but a blink against the patient, rhythmic timeline of this coastline. The ocean has been sighing like this for eons. The sky has been performing this color transformation every single day without fail. There is a steadfastness here that you can lean into. Now, bring your attention back to the present, to the details that make this moment uniquely yours. Look at the patterns in the wet sand, left by the retreating waves, ripples, ridges, tiny craters from bubbling sand. They are like hieroglyphics of the tide, written and rewritten with each cycle. See the tiny, almost transparent ghost crabs that skitter sideways at the edge of your vision, vanishing into holes as if they were never there. Notice the way the last purple light catches the fragile foam bubbles left off the sand, making each one a tiny, iridescent planet that pops into nothingness. The scent has evolved again. The damp, mineral smell of the exposed sand at low tide is now more prominent. The soundscape, too, has layered. Beneath the wave's sigh, if you listen very closely, is the subtle, constant fizz of the receding water percolating through billions of sand grains. It's a sound of the earth drinking. And above, the first confident stars in the east are no longer timid pricks of light, but steady, confident diamonds. The planet Venus, the evening star, might be glowing with unmistakable brilliance. In the west, just above the last vestige of color, a jewel on the purple velvet. This is the moment of full transition. The active, giving day is complete. The receptive, introspective night is fully embraced. You are no longer a visitor to this piece. You have become part of its fabric. Your quiet presence, your observing consciousness is the final element in the scene. You are the witness for whom this daily spectacle acquires meaning. In a world that shouts, this place whispers. In a culture that values production, this place values being. In an age of infinite connection, this place offers the rare and sacred gift of true solitude, not loneliness, but a rich, fertile aloneness with the universe. The purple sky is now fading to a deep, velvety blue-black at the zenith, while a faint, warm blush of what was once orange and purple lingers stubbornly on the horizon like a memory of the sun. The world is holding you in this quiet space between stories, between the chapter of day and the chapter of night. And in this space, there is no demand on you except to exist, to breathe, and to observe the ancient, beautiful machinery of the world turning over. As the final embers of the purple twilight dissolve into the uniform darkness of a star-studded night, and the ocean's sighs become sounds felt more in your chest than heard with your ears, we arrive at the true purpose of this journey, integration. This profound peace you've cultivated here is not meant to be left on the beach like a forgotten shell. It is a resource, a living memory, a neural pathway that you can learn to access long after you've physically left this shore. The challenge of modern life is the abrupt, jarring transition from environments of deep restoration back into environments of high demand. We go from a serene vacation directly into a hectic airport. We finish a meditation and immediately check a buzzing phone. This shatters the fragile state we've cultivated. So let's practice carrying this twilight with you. First, engage all your senses one last time, deliberately and with the intention of creating a memory anchor. Look at the horizon. Find the darkest band of blue where the last light lives and imprint it on your mind. Listen to the specific rhythm of the waves right now. Are they coming? In sets of 3? A long sigh? 2 shorter ones? Feel the exact temperature of the air on your skin, the coolness on your forehead, contrasting with the residual warmth in the sand under your heels. Smell the air, the crisp, clean, saline night air. Even taste the faint salt on your lips. This multisensory snapshot is your key. In days or weeks from now, when the world feels too loud and too sharp, you can close your eyes and retrieve this anchor. Breathe in deeply, imagine that salt air scent, hear the 3-wave pattern in your mind, and feel the coolness on your skin. Your nervous system will remember. It will respond. This is not escapism, it is skilled emotional regulation. You are building an internal sanctuary, modeled on the most proven, natural template for peace there is. Secondly, take a literal piece of it if you can, not in a way that disturbs the environment, but in a way that honors it. That perfectly smooth, palm-sized stone you found earlier, hold it now, feel its cool, solid weight. This stone has been curated by the ocean for centuries to fit perfectly in your hand. Let it be your tactile totem, your pocket-sized piece of this twilight. In a stressful moment, reaching into your pocket and feeling its smooth, cool surface can instantly ground you, pulling a thread of this serene moment into your present chaos. If not a stone, then a shell. Let it be a physical trigger for this entire experience. Now, as we prepare to turn away from the sea, consider this final, transformative thought. You do not need an ocean to find this twilight peace. The principles are universal. It is about finding an edge, a transition point, and observing it with soft fascination. It could be the edge of a city park at dusk where the trees become silhouettes against a fading sky. It could be your own window, watching the daylight soften over your neighborhood, listening as the day sounds gradually change to night sounds. The key is the intentional observation of a transition, the respectful witness of a cycle completing itself. It is about giving yourself permission for those 5, 10, 20 minutes to do nothing but be present to the world's natural rhythm. In doing so, you reclaim a fundamental human birthright, the right to rest, to wonder, and to be in awe. This practice of twilight observation, whether at a beach, a park, or a backyard, becomes a ritual of resetting your internal compass, of reminding yourself of your true scale in a vast, beautiful, and ultimately benevolent universe. The purple sky was your teacher tonight. It taught you about the beauty of softening, the grace in transition, the peace that comes from aligning with cycles rather than fighting them. It showed you that after every day, no matter how challenging, there is this gift of softening light, of rhythmic sound, of expansive space that asks nothing of you. As you finally turn your back to the now dark ocean, the sound of the waves will begin to fade, but let the feeling remain. Carry it up the beach, through the dunes, back to the path. Let it walk with you. The stars above are fully out now, a glittering confirmation that the night has its own magic, a deeper, more introspective companion to the twilight show. You came here with the weight of a day, you live with the lightness of the night sky, and you have the tools, the memory, and the permission to find this peace again whenever you need it. For the world turns, the sun sets, and the sky, in its infinite generosity, will always paint its masterpiece of transition. You just have to remember to look up, to breathe, and to receive it. If this journey to a peaceful beach at twilight brought you even a fraction of the calm it describes, then your engagement is the greatest compliment. To make this piece a permanent part of your channel, I urge you to do this, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. Why? Because this channel is dedicated to creating these deep dive, original, research-backed experiences in sound, sight, and word. Every video is crafted not as background noise, but as an intentional escape, a sensory reset for your mind. By subscribing, you're not just adding to a number, you're building your own library of tranquility, gifting your future self a one-click portal to places like this peaceful beach. Share this video with one person you care about who needs this pause today, a friend, a family member, a colleague. Spread this ripple of calm. And most importantly, tell me in the comments below what detail from this twilight beach resonated with you the most. Was it the science of the purple sky, the sound of the waves, the feeling of the sand, or the idea of carrying this peace with you? Your stories inspire what we create next. This is more than a channel. It's a community built around finding peace in a chaotic world. Welcome. Thank you for being here, for listening, and for choosing peace.